Hey guys, today I'm going to be reviewing the Lord John Grey series and Seven Stones to Stand or Fall, both by Diana Gabaldon. So guys, before I do head into my thoughts and feelings on the Lord John Grey series and the short story collection, Seven Stones to Stand or Fall, I'm not going to have any spoilers in regards to any of these books, and I'm going to try to do my best just to kind of stay clear of just spoilers in general, even kind of related to the main series, if that makes sense. Also, what I plan on doing in this video, I want to try to just keep everything very just simplistic. I don't want to get into too many wild and crazy details because this video will be extremely long. For the Lord John Grey series and for the short story collection, if you do want to know a lot more of my thoughts and opinions about like the individual books and the individual short stories and the short story collection, I do highly recommend checking out my Goodreads channel and reading my actual reviews, because this particular video is going to be just very general and simplistic. I'm not really going to dive too much into like specifics with these individual things. Like I said, this video would be really long if I did. So, where to begin? When should you read these particular books? Let's start there. For the Lord John Grey series, it is best to have at least read the first 3 Outlander books, I'd say. I think you'll be in the clear if you've at least read the first 3 Outlander books, that being Outlander, Dragonfly and Amber, and Voyager. I think as long as you've read those first 3, you'll be in the clear with Lord John Grey. If you've not like read past Voyager, for instance, the Lord John Grey series isn't going to do anything that's going to spoil you about something within the rest of the Outlander canon, if that makes sense. So that's a good spot there with Lord John Grey. Now, as far as the Seven Stones to Stand or Fall short story collection, I made the mistake of reading the short stories a little too soon, you guys, so I have been spoiled about some upcoming books. I thought I was in the clear. I was not. So, the best time to read Seven Stones to Stand or Fall, I think it is definitely a good idea to be totally caught up. At the time of this video where I am filming it, things like Echo in the Bone and In My Heart's Blood, I think that's how that one's called, those have already been released, and there are spoilers in regards to those particular books that are in the short story collection. So you do need to have been caught up with at least those last 2 Outlander books. Like I said, Echo in the Bone and Written in My Own Heart's Blood. You definitely need to have been caught up with those books, is my understanding. Because like I said, I did get spoiled about a few things. Like one of them was like a character death and stuff like that, you know. The thing is, even the little bit of spoilers that I got from Seven Stones to Stand or Fall, even though I did get some little spoilers in there, it wasn't anything massive or major, like in regards to the main Outlander characters, if that makes sense. I didn't get spoiled about anything in regards to Jamie or Claire or Roger or Brianna. You know what I mean? A lot of the things that were kind of being more spoilery was in regards to like the minor supporting characters, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's when you need to read these particular books. Like I said, Lord John Grey, you're good with the first 3 books in the Outlander series. But yeah, for the short story collection, it is definitely best to be totally caught up, just to be on the safe side. Next, let's move into would I recommend these books for you? Because just because you love Outlander, it doesn't mean you're going to like these books. Because believe me, all over on Goodreads, there's just all sorts of very opinionated reviews, especially for the Lord John Grey series, because there's a lot of people who do not like Lord John Grey. So, starting with the Lord John Grey series, would I recommend the Lord John Grey series? I would recommend the Lord John Grey series if you are a massive fan of Lord John Grey like I am. Lord John Grey is one of my top favorite supporting characters from the Outlander series. I look forward to every appearance of his. So I was ecstatic when I found out he had his own standalone book series, you guys. So you definitely need to be a fan of Lord John Grey. If he's the type of character you have never particularly liked and you don't anticipate liking him ever, you might want to just steer clear of his series, because you're most likely not going to like it if you already just do not like him as a character. And believe it or not, guys, I don't know why I say that, because it's not really shocking, but I mean, there were a lot on Goodreads, on a lot of people's Goodreads reviews, there was a lot of very homophobic reviews. Because if you've read the Outlander series, Lord John Grey is gay, and there were just a massive amount on Goodreads reviews, just really homophobic people who were essentially not liking his series just because he is gay. So if that's going to bother you as well, if that's going to bother you as well as a reader, don't pick up the series as well, because there are a lot of very lengthy, descriptive sex scenes with Lord John and other men. So just let that be known if that's going to bother you. So yeah, like I said, I'm someone who personally really loves Lord John Grey. I was thrilled to discover he had his own book series, so that's kind of how I would recommend his series. You need to be already in love with him as a character, because I anticipate if you dislike him already, you're not going to like him anymore. Now, as for Seven Stones to Stand or Fall, would I recommend that to you as well? I feel like Seven Stones to Stand or Fall, if you're a casual reader of the Outlander series, and I do mean casual, there's probably no particular reason for you to even read the short story collection as well. There's probably going to be a lot of details that you're thinking, what? What? I don't even remember this from the main series, or this or that, and who's this character, you know? So yeah, if you're a casual reader of Outlander, the short story collection probably isn't necessarily for you. You're not going to be really excited or thrilled about it. But yeah, if you're someone who loves all things Outlander and you just got to consume more, by all means, yes, definitely pick up the short story collection. I definitely really like the short story collection. Even though, like I said, I was spoiled about a few things in there, I still found great enjoyment out of it. I still like spending a lot of time with a lot of these, secondary characters and whatnot. And yeah, once again, Lord John Grey, in the short story collection, there are 3 major short stories that do involve Lord John Grey. So if that's going to bother you, if you're thinking, once again, oh goddamn, how much Lord John Grey is there? So yeah, you definitely need to be, I think you definitely need to be a diehard Outlander fan in order to appreciate the short stories, and in order to, kind of figure out where you are on the timeline and whatnot. And yeah, because it's mostly involving a lot of secondary supporting characters and whatnot. There is a short story in there that Jamie is in it quite a bit. But that's really it. There's no short story involving like Claire or Roger or Brianna, like I said, it is all straight out more of the secondary supporting characters. If you're expecting a whole book of short stories with naked Jamie Fraser just having sex with everybody in the world, you're not going to get that. So yeah, that's all out of the way. I kind of wanted to get all the general things out of there. I will kind of head into, I really don't, I don't know. I'm trying to think how to go about this. I guess I'll go a little bit more into a few more details with Lord John Grey here. So yeah, what you need to know about the Lord John Grey series. It is composed of, how many books are there here? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 books here, and that compose of the Lord John Grey series. You have Lord John and the Private Matter. Book 2, Lord John and the Brotherhood of the Blade. Book 3, Lord John and the Hand of the Devils, and this is actually a collection of 3 short stories in this volume, but they are still part of his series. And then Book 4, The Scottish Prisoner. And out of all of the books in the Lord John Grey series, like if you're just not quite positive if you want to read his series or not, I think your best bet would definitely be The Scottish Prisoner, because this is definitely, it's like 50-50 Lord John Grey, and 50-50 Jamie Fraser. And even though I did love the entirety of the Lord John Grey series, I do think Scottish Prisoner was my favorite. I think it had one of the best stories, and I love that team up between John and Jamie Fraser and whatnot. But yeah, what you need to know about the Lord John Grey series, like I was mentioning, his books do take place like after, well, not, I'm trying to think here, you guys. I'm trying to get the mental timeline. If you've read Outlander, Diana Gabaldon has a massive, crazy timeline, and you gotta wrap your head around it. His books take place in like from 1750 to 1760. Let's kind of put it that way. If you're a fan of Outlander, you'll kind of know the time frame there. But yeah, his books take place pretty much in kind of that decade, if you will. Pretty much right there after Claire, after the Jacobite Rebellion, pretty much. After the Jacobite Rebellion, after Claire has gone through the Stones, and, as this book especially, it's called The Scottish Prisoner, yeah, Jamie Fraser is still the Scottish prisoner, and, John Grey, kind of being his parole officer, I guess, however you want to think about it. So that's kind of the time frame of where the Lord John Grey books take place. And you can definitely read the Lord John Grey books as their own separate thing. They are not required reading. I don't think, at least. If you read the other Outlander books, I don't think you're going to be missing anything in regards to like any of his story or any of his plot. Diana Gabaldon did a great job of kind of keeping his story separate, and that there's nothing really totally massively important that you need to know that's going to be massively crazy, like, for the continuation of the series, I guess, if that makes sense. But yeah, for the most part, all of the Lord John Grey books, because he is a soldier and whatnot, a lot of his books kind of have the same sort of plot and flow to them, if you will, but I never found that boring. All of his plots usually have something to do with there's some sort of betrayal or a traitor within the midst of the army. And Lord John Grey has to, find out what's going on. He has to uncover whatever the betrayal is. He has to uncover the true traitor. He has to solve some sort of death of like a soldier or an officer or something. All of his books are pretty much the exact same sort of thing, but kind of done in a little bit of a different way. And the thing is, the Outlander series, the main Outlander series, they are primarily like historical romances, if you will. But the Lord John Grey series is definitely not focused on romance. They are what I would consider more like historical mystery thrillers, if you will, because Lord John has to either uncover like a murder or a death or just some sort of political element that's involved, you know what I mean? So yeah, even though, because as I mentioned, because he is gay and there are numerous sex scenes between him and like other men and whatnot, the romance is not the core of his books at all. They are definitely more mystery thrillers and him trying to uncover conspiracies and betrayals and traitors and whatnot, so that's kind of a thing too. If you think that's going to be boring for you, because there's a lot of military jargon and military lingo and battle sequences, you know what I mean? So that's going to be hit or miss with you if that's going to be your cup of tea or not. But what I loved about the Lord John Grey series, like I said, he's one of my top favorite supporting characters in the main Outlander series. I just adore his character to bits. And he's just so fascinating, and he's so complex as well. He's so absolutely complex because he's a British soldier, and he's secretly gay, and he has these feelings for Jamie Fraser that are unrequited, and they're going to always be unrequited, you know. And he's such a tragic and devastating character at the end of the day, you know, because of just who he is deep down. But yeah, I love these books that we get to spend quality time with Lord John Grey. I love spending all that time with him and really getting to know more of his personality, more of how he thinks and processes things. And he's very intelligent, quick to action, quick to doing the right thing. And yeah, he has just this sense of great weight and great responsibility. He's very duty bound, honor bound, and I just really love that and admire that about his character. And I've just always found him just so complex and interesting. And yeah, spending all that time with him, getting to know him as a character, getting to see all these other relationships in his life, you know, like his family. He has a mother, he has a cousin named Olivia, he has you know, various different romances on the side. He has friendships with other people, you know. He has a valet, you guys. Let's talk about his valet, Tom Bird. I freaking love his valet, Tom Bird. He was definitely the highlight of this series. And yeah, John Grey and his valet, Tom Bird, they have just such a beautiful platonic relationship, you guys, and I love that, because Diana Gabaldon could have easily just went all wild and crazy and had, you know, this sexual relationship between Tom Bird and Lord John Grey, but I love that she has kept it platonic, and there's a really great, respectful friendship there between them, you know, even though it's master and servant, essentially, but there's still a really great, fascinating friendship and bond there between them, and I love that. I had to gush about Tom Bird, you guys, because he's seriously one of my favorite characters. I adore him. It's a shame he's not really in, like, the other Outlander books, you guys. I don't think he is. Does he pop up in the other Outlander books, you guys? That would make my day if he does. But yeah, no spoilers. I don't want no spoilers, because I'm not caught up with Outlander yet, because I think the last book I read was Breath of Snow and Ashes, something like that. So yeah, I mean, that's the general gist of the Lord John Grey books, kind of what you're primarily getting in those. Like I said, historical mystery thrillers, and John having to figure out betrayals and traitors and murders and stuff like that. It's exciting. And then as for Seven Stones to Stand or Fall, I've kind of gone into a little bit of detail with this throughout the review. I guess I'll just touch on a few other things really quickly. This is a short story collection, as I've already mentioned numerous times, consisting of 7 short stories, 3 of which do deal with Lord John Grey. Jamie Fraser has a short story in here that takes place like pre-Outlander, with him as a young man, and yet Ian Murray is in that story as well. So that was fun seeing the two of them as young men, like pre-Outlander, you know, before Claire ever even arrives. There's a short story in here with Michael Murray and Jane McKimmey, who are characters that I know they exist, because at the point that I'm at with the story, they're still like children, I feel like, and this is them like as teenagers, as grown human beings, you know. So there's like a story in here involving them, and I love that story, even though it's 2 characters that I've not been fully introduced to, like in full, because I think they're going to be fully introduced in like the next couple books that I'm behind on at the moment. There's a short story in here involving Lord John Grey's elder brother. John Grey is not even in that particular short story, but it is focused on his elder brother and how he meets his future wife and whatnot. There's also a short story in here focused on Roger Mackenzie's parents, because in the main story, the main Outlander story, I've always known that his parents died. We have been given details about that. But yeah, the short story goes into a lot more detail about that, and it goes to some very fascinating, interesting places, you guys, I was not expecting, because it seems like in the next couple books that I'm behind on, seems like that is kind of a bit of a bigger deal, possibly, unless I am misunderstanding that. Yeah, let me see, what else is in here, because I feel like I guess I covered it all. I guess I covered all of it. As for the Lord John Grey themed short stories, there is one in here, it's called A Plague of Zombies, you guys, and there are some legit zombies in the story. You know, Diana Gabaldon, she has gone to some wild and crazy science fiction, fantasy elements. You know, she's gone to some crazy places, but there are actually some, I believe, some legit zombies in this short story. I was a little confused about the details. I was like, are they really zombies, or are they not really totally zombies? I don't know. But yeah, there are zombies in one of these short stories, you guys, involving Lord John Grey. And it was kind of great. But yeah, once again, I think I kind of mentioned this earlier. This short story collection, it is not like must read, if that makes sense. You don't have to read this. It's not required. If you don't read this, I don't think you're particularly missing out on anything. I think really, especially if you are reading the Lord John Grey series, you might want to definitely get this, because there are more Lord John Grey books in here if you're like a completist and you want to read all his short stories and all his books and whatnot. But yeah, for the most part, nothing in here is required reading. You're not missing out on anything. Once again, make sure you are totally caught up, because you will be spoiled by a few little minor things. But yeah, I did in general really love the short story collection. I appreciated it. It was nice to spend time with some other characters and get little places filled in. That's kind of what this short story collection is doing. It's filling in little gaps, if you will. It's filling in little gaps and holes that Diana Gabaldon has kind of left hanging open, if you will. So you guys, that's pretty much it for my thoughts and feelings on the short story collection and on the Lord John Grey series. What does Diana Gabaldon have next, you guys? I'm very curious, because I know she's definitely working on concluding Outlander, because I know there's, at the time of filming this video, what is it, Tell the Bees I'm Gone, I think is what that one, at the time of filming this video, that book has not come out yet, but it's very quickly coming up. So I know that book is coming, and then I think after that there's like 1 or 2 more books. I'm not quite sure how many more books in the main series. So yeah, I'm curious if Diana Gabaldon is going to spend any more time writing some more short stories, if she's eventually going to go back to Lord John Grey. I would love for her to continue Lord John Grey's stories and his series and what he gets up to. I think that'd be fun and exciting. So yeah, I think the future of Outlander is bright. I guess it just depends if Diana Gabaldon, finds inspiration, finds stories that she thinks are interesting to tell and whatnot. So I guess we shall see. But yeah, if she writes anything else within the Outlander universe, I will definitely pick it up. So you guys, that is it for this video. In the comments below, have you guys read any of this extended Outlander material? Do you plan on reading any of it? But yeah, if you have read any of it, how did you feel about these particular reads? I'm definitely really curious. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye, guys.